in the room. Doc Rivers is our doctor. Right time on screws. It gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. The Crimson crossover. Groove Travis III.
Chris King.
Bucks losing tonight, 113-118 to the Cleveland Cavaliers on a Sunday evening in Cleveland. First loss of the year. Bucks fall to 2-1. I believe the Cleveland Cavaliers are now 3-0. Bucks are shorthanded tonight. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Appreciate you guys joining us here. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. We know you guys want to get into that. We shall not be long on tonight, but the Bucks do lose it 118-113 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Come on in the room, get at us in the chat. We'll talk to you in the chat. Get at us on the Twitter. We'll talk to you on the Twitter as well. If you're watching the program there, get to your tweets in just a second. But the Bucks lose it tonight, a final in Cleveland, 118-113. Let's get right into it with a little game recap tonight. Giannis, 40, 14, and 9. My goodness, he starts the season off on a tear. 2 steals, 2 blocks, 14 and 20 from the field, Chris. 1 of 1 from 3. I believe he's now 4 of 6 from 3 on the year. 11 and 16 from the line, so not bad there. 2 turnovers. And here's the thing: he only plays 33 minutes tonight. So again, I think it's one of those games, and we'll get into it obviously as we keep discussing here. But it's one of the games where it's early in the year, and if Doc really wanted to push for this one, maybe you do. Maybe you play Giannis 36, 37, 38, but it's early. And again, you have a tough schedule coming up. You got, I believe, New York, and I believe you have Golden State. So maybe you want to hold off just a little bit. But in 33 minutes of action, 40 points, 14 boards, 9 assists. Miles Turner, to me, the first game, Miles Turner showed a bit of his offensive prowess as well, especially there in that fourth quarter. Here's the thing. Defense, we talk about that front court of Giannis and Miles Turner. They're erasing stuff. They played a really good game from a front court. 13 and 6 tonight, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 5 of 12, 2 of 6 from 3 for Miles Turner. He did have 3 turnovers. I thought defensively he was an A+ tonight. I thought he was an A+ defensively. He's having to work his way into what the feel is, what the fit is with his offense. But you saw in that fourth, hit a couple threes. He hit 3. I think he hit one that was foot was on the line. It was a 2 on one of the most beautiful passes I see from Giannis behind the back there in the fourth. Eyes in the back of his head. It was a beautiful, beautiful pass, and you pay it off. AJ Green, 20 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. He was 6 of 9 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. Had one beautiful one at the end as well to keep the game alive. 30 minutes from AJ Green. And again, that was the question. Without KPJ, without Kuzma, without the guy who had 23 the other night, Cole Anthony, who was going to step up and score? And for the Milwaukee Bucks, you get 20 out of AJ Green, and you needed one other guy to come through. Ryan Rollins had a really good night tonight, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for him. He also had 3 steals on the night, 5 of 11, 1 of 5 from 3, was a +7. I thought that was good. I thought that was good, solid point guard play from Ryan Rollins, both offensively and defensively. And then the guy who just didn't bring it tonight, and again, I think he's inconsistent. I think it's one of the things, it just happens. You don't have nights where you don't play well. 6 points, 2 assists, 2 steals from Gary Trent Jr. was 3 of 9, 1 of 7 from 3. He was a -23 in the starting lineup. Worst plus-minus in the entire game for the Bucks, and it looked like it. Taurean Prince, 8 points, 3 boards, 31 minutes. He seems to be getting a little tired. Again, I'm gonna give Doc a break because there were guys out. He seems to get a ton of minutes. Mark Sears made his NBA debut. Nothing to speak of there for Mark Sears. And I know there was people who thought when he was undrafted, he was undrafted free agent, right? I know there's people who kind of have that conversation about Mark Sears, saw what he did at Alabama, and felt really good about him. He's just, again, it's opening night. He's just too small. Again, it reminds me of Marcus Howard a lot, to be honest, where I think if Mark Sears was 6'4", you might be talking about a different kind of guy. But at 6 foot listed, probably 5'10", 5'11" in real life, I just don't know what his NBA career is going to be, but he gets thrust into the action because so many guys were out for the Bucks. Bobby Porter's 10 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 4 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. 4 turnovers. Rough night from him. I thought he looked much better when the Bucks got into zone. Amir Coffey, I'm having the same question with him as I had with Chris Livingston. Chris, I don't know what he does. He was out there just like Mark Sears. Absolutely nothing. And then Jericho Sims, 2 points. Andre Jackson Jr., to me, looks like he's almost regressed with whatever the hell he's doing out there. I mean, like, I remember when Kuzma first got in the Bucks, there'd be people who online who would say, "Oh, Kuzma, they don't even defend Kuzma." And I go, that's just not. I just didn't see it. I mean, we were watching different games. Andre Jackson Jr., they literally don't. They act like he's not on the floor. I mean, you are truly playing 4-on-5 when you're on offense with the Bucks there. On the Cleveland side of things, Evan Mobley, 23 points, 8 boards, defensive player of the year. But I really was not all that impressed from Evan Mobley. He does have 3 steals and 2 blocks. Again, it's Giannis, but I mean, your primary matchup, you're the defensive. Any defensive player of the year last year, you are the reigning defensive player of the year, and your matchup gives you 40, 14, and 9. So if the defensive player of the year holds Giannis to 40, 14, and 9, what the hell does that make Giannis? If that's what Giannis does to the defense, this is the best defensive player in the entire sport. And you can't give me the whole, well, they're out of position, and that's a defensive guard like a Marcus Smart or something like that, or Draymond. They are the same position of player, and that is your positional matchup. And you might as well not been there. You might as well not been there defensively. Ends up with 4 fouls. Giannis had his way with him. I mean, just absolutely beat him down to a pulp tonight. So if that's defensive player of the year, my God, I'd love to see. Anyway, I don't see Evan Mobley's defensive player of the year material. That's a great defender, but when you can't hold your own matchup to 40, 14, and 9, get out of here with that. DeAndre Hunter, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. DeAndre Hunter got to the middle of the paint and just had a nice I don't know if he was 6 of 13. He shot 4 threes. He hit 1 3 tonight. He hit almost everything exclusively, 12, 13-footer, just buried in mid-range. Jared Allen, 8 points, 11 boards. Sam Merrill I think he had 14 in the first half. Bucks did a better job of him in the second half. He did have one late 3, which came off of a miscommunication when the Bucks got in that zone, and they kind of didn't know whether they were getting back in the matchup zone or where they were going to man. And Sam Merrill hit a 3 on him. Donovan Mitchell, 24, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Modest night for Mitchell. He was 9 of 20. So again, he didn't kill you. It was just a combination of everybody. Dean Wade, 4 points. How about Lonzo Ball? I thought he played a good game tonight. 11.6 boards, 5 assists from him. And I thought Craig Porter Jr. played a decent game too. Just a utility kind of player, did a lot of different things. Not huge numbers, 5 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, 3 steals. But he just seemed to be all over the floor tonight. He was a plus floor, and Larry Nance had 5 points as well. Bucks again losing 118-113. Again, just about what I saw. I thought it was a valiant effort from the Bucks tonight. Shorthanded, and again, they're really shorthanded at the ball. You think about your ball handlers. Yeah, Ryan Rollins, but you don't have, again, Cole Anthony, who is a primary ball handler for the Bucks, KPJ, who's your starting point guard for the Bucks, and Kyle Kuzma, who they use in that second unit a lot to force action and bring the ball up the floor and initiate some of the offense. So you are missing 3 of your primary ball handlers. And so tonight, the only 2 real ball handlers you have is Ryan Rollins and Giannis. And it showed tonight. I think at the start of the fourth quarter, you can talk about a lot of different ways where the Bucks lost this basketball game. The Bucks, again, the first half started to get away from them. Then in the third, it really started to get away from them. Got down 17, 18 points. And then Giannis put the team on his absolute back, got him back in the game. And you're talking about, it's a 2-point game going into the fourth quarter. And you come out the first play of the fourth quarter, Torian Prince, turnover. AJ Green, turnover. Giannis misses a layup right at the basket. Like that, those are your first 3 possessions of the fourth quarter, and it just set the tone, and you never got to get in front. And so I think that, again, you talk about a lot of different places, and Gary Trent to play well. A lot of different places where this game was lost. But again, I was happy with the effort. I thought they played well, especially knowing you're down 17-18. Giannis got into that mode. We'll talk about it in a second, but my overarching theme is just this team's I think they're good, but they got to be healthy, because when you're missing guys, you're trying to find where those points come from. And there were some times where the offense got stuck in the mud, and they couldn't find it. But overall, they got back into it. I thought offensively, process-wise, you looked really good at points, especially in that fourth quarter. Once you got off the turnovers, Rollins to Miles Turner, like especially when Miles Turner starts to eat, I think he'll be good once he figures out what his role is outside of just pick and pop and hitting threes. I think that will be a big time thing for Turner. I'd really like to see him get to that nail by the free throw line and really be like kind of like the DeAndre Hunter was doing and hitting that shot. Lastly, I thought again the Bucks zone was really what got them back into the game defensively because they were having a problem stopping guys. And I thought, and Marcus Johnson made a point of this on the broadcast. I thought it was a really good job by Kenny Atkinson. He put, because again, the way you beat the 2-3-3, the way you beat any half court zone, for the most part, is get the ball to the middle. You got to get to the middle. And so many teams act like they see a zone and get allergic to it. And tonight is one of those things where the Cavs, they put their best player in the middle of the zone. And so into that short pass, elbow, free throw line extended, got it to Donovan Mitchell in the fourth, and he was able to cook a little bit and did a really good job. Again, I was impressed with the Bucks tonight. A lot of really good positive things from the Bucks. And they just fell a little short. You really probably need one more guy to step up for them and get it to work. But you do fall short by 5, 118-113 to Cleveland Cavaliers. That's what I saw. Chris King, what'd you see?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, it's great to see Miles Turner finally get going for this Bucks team, and especially to do that versus not only just a decent front court, like one of the premier front courts in the NBA and also just premier front courts in the Eastern Conference. So you have like a really good, maybe even advantage against those two in Mobley and Allen with Giannis and Miles Turner. And it's also good to see that Giannis trusts Miles Turner. When he's penetrating, he throws it back out to Miles Turner for a couple threes, and it's like, okay, these guys have a two-man game working offensively as well, and then defense, it's just suffocating. So really enjoyed to see that. And then, yeah, I think you're just kind of looking at a situation where you're missing a lot of primary ball handlers, and so things get sloppy. Ryan Rollins, I thought he did a good job for the most part taking on that ball handling role. Lucked out a couple of times on just loosening, like loose handle on the ball, and then he got it back and dunked it. But
that was nice.
I think for the most part, I think Ryan did a good job of at least trying to be out there and handle the ball, because we know he did score as well off of off-ball situations where he's cutting to the rim. So I enjoyed seeing that. I think A.J. Green did a decent job defensively as well, but offensively he did good, knocking down shots, getting to that open shot. But where I really thought this game was lost was really in the first half. It was, to me, the second chance points that the Cavs were able to get. It was too hard to overcome, and they ended up building a pretty decent lead at the half, and then they carried that into the third quarter. But we cleaned some of that up towards the end of the game, so I enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, this was a game you chalk up to, hey, when you look at those second chance points, if you have a Kuzma out there to maybe get some extra rebounds, if you have a Kuzma out there to get some more buckets inside, I think that you may be in a different spot, and then as well as having KPJ and Cole Anthony. So I'm not going to put too much stock into this. I think the Bucks really, I mean, they've showed me 3 good games now, even though they lost this one tonight. And I'm looking forward to guys getting healthy and then also getting back on track trying to get some wins.
Satoro said I got to turn up the mics. I don't know if that's me or if he's talking to you, but I tried to do it on my end. So let me know if the mics are good. William Arrange, appreciate the super chat there. William says health and poor shooting from 3 is what simply cost us the game. I think Doc's rotations need to be better. He keeps Giannis off for too long in the second and fourth quarters. It's an interesting point you bring up there, William, talking about the rotations. Listen, I hear you, and I know people don't like the rotation of Doc Rivers. I saw some of that. I saw a few of those kind of comments come through. At least I saw them on social media as I was watching. I think it's tough to blame Doc Rivers or talk about his rotations, especially when you're so shorthanded. One of which that I thought was interesting was in the fourth. There was a stretch in the fourth where he played Mark Sears, And I think it was because, but I understood it because you wanted to get Ryan Rollins that rest. And again, you talk about AJ Green and Taurean Prince we're just turning the ball over. And Gary Trent can't really bring the ball up the court. So you want another ball handler on the floor. You say that, Giannis is off the floor too long in second and fourth. I mean, I guess then my questions are when do you want him to rest? And I think what you're really getting at is you want more when Bobby's on the floor. I'm assuming you want one of Turner or Giannis there with him, and you want more of that. You want them to kind of play interchangeably, at least, where you keep Giannis on the floor in some of those situations. And again, it's always a catch-22. If he's on during some periods, he's got to be off during other periods when you want him on the floor. I thought Doc really handled the game well, managed the game well from especially dealing with all the injuries that he was dealing with. Again, we started to show off by saying, could Giannis have played 37 minutes and try to? Sure. I mean, could you play later? Sure. I just think it's really early in the season, especially with the injuries that we've had, to really for me to get bent out of shape about what the rotations and lineups look like. And then the other thing about it, I mean, I hear you, but when Giannis is out of the floor in that I think it was in the fourth and especially the end of the third when Giannis went out, and even in the fourth, the Bucks, I believe, were a plus during that period. I mean, there was a moment in about 3 minutes in the third where Giannis went out after leading them back, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be rough. And the Bucks, I believe, went +5. So I hear you, but again, I do think it's a little early for that conversation, but I definitely understand it as far as some frustrations. But again, some of it is Bobby just has to play better. Bobby has to play better when he's on the floor as a 4 or 5. I think Doc tried to play Jericho Sims at 5 tonight. Yeah, you're shorthand. I think he tried to play Jericho Sims at 5 to help out with the rotations. But ultimately, what Doc settled on was going zone, and I think that's going to be what the Bucks do a lot more of to try to help Bobby Portis out there defensively, because I think he is the weak link as far as what's going on.
Well, yeah, and I also think that like this kind of game was more fit for Bobby Portis to thrive in because it was a lot more half-court offense, and unfortunately, we just didn't see him take advantage of that. Like, this was a game where obviously you don't have your horses that can run with KPJ, Kyle Kuzma, and Cole Anthony, guys that like to get up and down the floor and push and transition. And when Bobby was out there, like without those three guys, it was kind of a half-court offense game, especially when you factor in how much zone was being run towards the end. And it just looked like Bobby wasn't able to take advantage of that, missing shots. What I did like from Bobby is that, we talk about all the time finding those mismatches, but when you're not making those shots on backing down Donovan Mitchell, smaller guards, then like what use are you out there for? So I was surprised that he still wasn't able to get it going in a slower paced game, but hopefully we see a little bit more of just confidence when he's shooting, and hopefully just find ways to use him more effectively.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. I thought they did it. I really did think they did a decent job. I see Io's upset with the coaching. Midwest Ball says I ain't even mad. Great effort. Tish is in here, says, hey fellas, good to see him fight. There's another one I saw. The Io says then he plays our best playmaker for only 5 minutes in the fourth when we were down 3. There was a comment here. I can't find it. I can't find the comment now, but somebody asked about, they were talking about Doc Rivers. Oh, that was Midwest Ball says, let's not let Doc off the hook with the end of game time management debacle. Let's sit there, and I want to ask you about that end of game where I think the Bucks were up 3 and there were like 20 some seconds left, but the shot, I think what it was, I think the clock was at 27 and the shot clock, so there was going to be a 3-second difference there. I think that's where Midwest Ballers is going. I think in a perfect world, you foul immediately down 3 with 27 seconds in the 3-second differential because you had a timeout. But the thing I thought that got mismanaged there was they waited and they actually had a foul to give. I think the thing that got mismanaged there was they waited and didn't know what they wanted to do. And then there was at one point in time, now there's 14 seconds on the clock and 17 seconds on there's 14 seconds on the shot clock, 17 on the game clock. And at that point, with one timeout, I almost think do you just play it out at that point and you take your and hope they miss and then take your timeout and try and advance it down the floor? Instead, Evan Mobley goes 4-4 down the stretch from free throw line from the free throw line. Would you have again? I would have fouled immediately, but once we let 10 seconds go off the clock, I probably would have played it straight up and tried to see if we can get a miss, get the rebound. You would have had 3 seconds left. And oh, by the way, you just had AJ Green hit like a 30-footer. Beautiful shot. And Doc Rivers slobs and blobs have, to me, this season been much better than we've seen in the past. So I want to get your thought process on what you would have done there as well down the stretch.
Yeah, you're starting to see some of the baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds pay off for the Bucks and get easy buckets. I'm with you. I think you play it out, especially how stout this defense was towards the end of the game. I think you take your chances there and try to see if you can get a 3 up. But hey, Evan Mobley, more power to him, knocking down 4 free throws at the end. Like, what are you gonna do at that point? He went to the line and earned it there. And then I also think that, like, instead of analyzing like the clock management at the end of the game, I think we realistically shouldn't have been in that position. I think we had many chances to at least, cut the lead down, try to make a run at winning this ball game, and we just couldn't do it. We couldn't hit the shots when we needed to, and they were knocking down shots that we were leaving Donovan Mitchell open. He was making tough shots. So I mean, I think this was you just chalk it up to they made more shots than you at the end of the game down the stretch.
They did. They made 100%. They made more plays throughout the entire game. They just made a couple more plays than the Bucks. Like Tish said, hit that like button as you come on into the room here. The Bucks lose it by 5. I think it's 118. 113 is the final. Guys, people asking for trades. I still see Queen Mama says his mic low. You say his whose mic? I don't know whose mic is low. Me or Chris? Let us know. I don't know if that's the problem or not. William Arrange this says, unfortunately, Bobby Portis is a cone on defense against the faster moving bigs. I says Sears is doing cardio out there. Same as AJ. I can't say AJ was doing cardio. He had 20 points tonight. He says he was clearly experimenting in the second. This is not the game to do that. Again, my own thing, I hear what you're talking about. You didn't have the ball. Again, if this was a regular, if everybody, okay, just saying it's Chris's mic. If everybody was, maybe that's better. I was just saying, if everybody was healthy and you're playing Mark Sears, I'm 100% with you guys. But I can't necessarily get there when you have injuries. You have ball handlers out and Torian Prince is bringing the ball up the court. Like I guess that's where I'm at with it on that. But again, I hear you. I hear the frustration. But I wasn't upset. Play No Matt says, "What's up, Bucks Nation?" Oh, Ajax. Yeah. Well, Ajax, and I think that the thing about Ajax defensively is you're trying to find somebody to stop Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, I thought the Bucks did a decent job with Donovan, to be honest with you. I really did. 24 points on 20 shots is not bad. But yeah, offensively, Ajax is just he's just so bad, man. And it's really a problem out there for him. Chris, I want to ask you about this, some more general observations from the Bucks and what you're seeing. Talk for a second about just about Giannis. And again, 40, 14, 9 from a playmaking standpoint, from a scoring standpoint, like you can get caught up in just how easy it is and what he makes it look like every single night. But what are you seeing this year through 3 games? Does it look like he's playing with a different edge about him? And then the other thing, I mean, I do think there's just there's something else I want to get to in a second, but let's talk about Giannis for a second, and then I'll get to my other question, and we can kind of get to the end of this.
Yeah, I think, to me, hopefully the mic is better, but and I'll try to talk into it. I think, to me, like, honestly, you look at the departures and you start to say, hey, this is who Giannis has been his whole career, with or without Damian Lillard, without, Chris Middleton, another guy who scores with the ball in his hands. And I think you see him now playing with the confidence again that, okay, it's me and a bunch of shooters. And I think that's what he's doing. I think, you're seeing a lot of just bully ball, and he's he just works hard. He works harder than everybody else. Like that's what you see a lot of the times in Giannis, and he cleans up misses. I saw one in particular, Mark Sears wide open floater, missed it. Giannis is getting double teamed, still able to get the rebound and lays it back up in. Like he creates these opportunities for himself, and I wouldn't say that Damian Lillard was like a handcuff for him, but I think he doesn't have to like try to compensate and get somebody else the ball. He knows that he can go find those opportunities. He told Cole Anthony, I saw Cole Anthony say in his press conference, look, you go do what you do, and I'm gonna play off of that. And like I think he's doing that with the whole Bucks team, because again, he manufactures those second chance points. He manufactures those drives where he's, still like sidestepping defenders and then putting a shoulder into somebody and laying it up. Like I don't think he really has anything to worry about in terms of like feeding anybody else or getting somebody else the ball anymore. I think this is a very, again, like I said, last post-game show, this is an unselfish basketball team, and I think they want to see Giannis do what he's doing right now because it opens up things for them. So I think Giannis just a little more of an unselfish basketball team, and he's really finding ways to score the basketball.
It goes back to pecking order where you talk about Damian Lillard. To me, a lot of times in the last 2 years with Damian Lillard, it became your turn, my turn, because they really didn't play off each other well. The difference with Chris Middleton as, the second star on the Bucks was I think the Bucks treated Giannis and Dame as 1A, 1B, whereas with Chris Middleton, it was 1-2. Like there was a clear cut, you are the second option. But end of games, Chris could become first option because they knew clutch shooting wise, you had Chris. But there was a clearly defined pecking order of who did what and how did you do it. And Giannis and Dame really didn't have that, didn't click. It was a lot of your turn, my turn, where Chris and Giannis played off of each other well, pick and roll wise. Like Giannis and Dame never got their pick and roll right throughout their entire time here. And Chris, like I said, was just again, some chemistry, whatever it was, they found each other a lot better. And then you look at this team without either one of them, and right, you're talking about it's just a clear pecking order of Giannis, you get to do what you do whenever you want to do it. Everybody else has to get in where they fit in. But again, on top of that, it's not simply Giannis taking everybody standing around and look. It's built upon ball movement all over the place. And again, it doesn't mean that ball doesn't get stagnant at times. But again, a game like tonight where Giannis has 9 assists, and again, could Gary Trent have made a couple more threes? Could Miles have hit a 3 or 2? And again, it's a potentially different ball game. Even Rollins, Io says Ryan's really good on Mitchell. I can't wait to see him versus Brunson. His defense is 100% underrated, and athleticism, my God, yes, no, 100%. Ryan Rollins defensively really, really good. KMLM 92 says $3 foul on 3-pointers. Cavs never did. Well, they did at the end, even though Gary Trent didn't get his foot behind the line. Get lost in the clutch, leave the best shooter wide open, too undisciplined to win that game. Again, we talked about that when KML. I understood what happened because I think there was some miscommunication on whether they were getting back in zone, whether they're getting back in man, and they left Miro open there. Last thought that I have on the night, Chris, is something I told you before we got on the pregame. Again, we're going to be shorter tonight, unless we have something else that pops up that anybody wants to talk about. But the last real thought I had was this team, again, healthy. I like them, right? Mm-hmm. I like them a lot. And when I say I like them, I'm saying they could get out of the East. Things break away or two. I don't see Cleveland to me is, again, I like Cleveland. I just don't know if they're world beaters to me that like, oh my God, like this person's good. Again, you still have Giannis still is the best player in the East. I look at Detroit. I don't feel like Detroit world beaters. The Knicks are probably the closest thing to that, even though I don't think they're world beaters either, but they're probably the closest thing to it because they have more dynamic team in different spots. Whereas again, I do look and I think they play very physical as well. Here's my issue, and this is where I want to get your perspective, is when somebody's out, when a couple people are out. Last year, as much as we talk about Damian Lillard and we get into some of the conversations about how good he was with his team, even a Chris Middleton, when you have a number 2 like that, you have a guy that can pick up the slack, especially I'm really talking when Giannis is out. The Bucks don't have anybody like that anymore. And you're trying to find guys that can get 20 around Giannis, right? And so you found the other night you found Cole Anthony. Is KPJ going to again? He only played one game. Is he going to be consistent enough to get you 15 to 20 points a night with Ross coming off the bench and then calling it and Gary Trent gets you? And I think you have my point is I think you have enough when it's all together to get there. My question is, how does this team sustain injuries and continue to win? Because we know Giannis is going to miss 10 to 12 games this year at some point. He started off the game one on the injury report. He's been on the injury report every single night. Great toe. I don't know what the hell toe that is. Your great toe. I'm assuming it's your big toe, but maybe it's not because they called it the great toe. I don't know. But how does this team, because of how they're constructed, without a clear-cut defined number two, and maybe that person is KPJ, I don't know, but how do they find ways to get the offense and score? Because again, especially Giannis, I just find it hard that they're going to be able to do that when guys are out. And tonight, guys, and again, Cleveland's a very good team, so I'm not going to, every night won't be like tonight where you're playing a team like Cleveland. Yeah. But is there a way? What do you see when guys are out? How do you see this Bucks team being able to move forward? Because injuries are just a part of the game. They are. Cleveland Darius Garland was out tonight. I saw some people in chat saying, "Oh, Bucks win easily with their guys," but again, they would argue Darius Garland's about a 20-point a night guy. So I don't know what he was, 17, 18, 19-point guy as well. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot to figure out, a lot of soul searching if there's ever a night where Giannis goes out, maybe even if Giannis and Miles Turner go out. Because you look at the depth on this basketball team and you're like, okay, in terms of bigs, you're really not that – you don't have much depth. And, you see Jericho Sims out there. He gave some decent minutes tonight. I thought he could be a little more disciplined on the defensive side. But regardless, I don't think there's a world where Giannis and Miles Turner, if they're both injured, I think we get dominated down low. We are putting, again, like the Chauncey Billups, all of our chips in one basket with those two holding it down. And Bobby Portis, the defense isn't there. Kuzma can have his moments. I don't see him being a defender of a five. And Jericho Sims, a lot of times, just not disciplined defense. So I think that's what would hurt you if Giannis and Miles Turner are ever out. But I can't say that I'm that discouraged if just Giannis is out and we have Miles Turner, because I do think Miles Turner playing the true five, and this Bucks team with the amount of depth we have at the point guard position, if Cole Anthony and KPJ come back and are fully healthy, I think you're going to see some people step up. You're going to see Cole Anthony go for those 20-point night games. I think you're going to see KPJ go for 20, go for 30. And they can play as a basketball team still without Giannis in those moments. So, I wouldn't, rely on this team to be able to win playoff games if that's what you're asking. That's tough without Giannis in the lineup. But I think in the regular season, again, you talked about it, we're not always going to play the Cavs. So if you get, the Wizards, the Hornets, those bad teams, maybe even the Celtics this year, and you're missing Giannis, I think this team is still capable of winning games throughout the regular season. But that's where I think, when people talk about some trade moves to maybe make, I think that's where you really get some credibility at, okay, maybe we need another guy that can create his own shot, that can go for big nights.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, if Giannis isn't there and you're relying on KPJ, Cole Anthony, Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent Jr., AJ Green to have massive nights, then I think that's a recipe for disaster. So I think that gives it real credibility to maybe say, okay, maybe we do need to make a move for another guy, another piece.
Clayton makes a point. He says, isn't that every team if they miss their two best defenders and scorers? But I don't know. Are you calling our two best defenders? Are you calling that again? And that's what I don't know. Cole Anthony just joined the team. Are we saying he's one of our two best scorers? He definitely not one of our two best defenders. Are we saying we know that Kyle Kuzma can't be one of our two best scorers? Are we saying he's one of our two best defenders? I don't think so. Our two best defenders are Miles and Giannis. So I think our two best defenders we had tonight. So are we calling KPJ one of our two best scorers? I would say we definitely were missing ball handlers. I don't know. I don't know that. But again, I look at Cleveland, who was missing. Again, I'm just saying, it's KPJ, it's Cole Anthony, and it's Kyle Kuzma. We just came off of everybody saying Kyle Kuzma is the worst player in the world. So it's hard. It is hard for us to turn back around. Now, I didn't say that, but it is hard for us to turn back around. Cole Anthony, who got left from his team, and KPJ, who a lot of people, I see a lot of Bucks fans who aren't convinced he should be starting anyway.
They still don't.
So they're still right. So I'm just saying it is hard to. Sometimes we have a tendency to sometimes overvalue our own players too. And again, I'm not saying that some small feat the Bucks are missing these guys, but I'm just saying I can't sit there and say we were missing Kyle, KPJ, and Cole, and if with them, we're world beaters. When I look on the other side and say Darius Garland's probably worth at least two of those guys, and then they were missing they're missing Max Strus, who's a very good role player. He's a very good role player. So again, I hear you. I'm just saying teams will miss guys. Guys will be out. You got to find ways to compete. And again, I'm not even talking about the Cavs. I'm talking about other teams as well. That's all. Valerio says you can say that about any team. The top two, we don't. But I get our top two players weren't out. Like I get, yeah, I see what you're saying. When Giannis is out, but teams have to be able to find a way to win. And that's what I'm talking about. Darius Garland. I guess you could say Evan Mobley is their second best player with Don Mitchell. But if you want to call him a three-headed monster, that was their number 3 guy at worst who was out. And they found a way to beat a team who, again, if you listen to this chat, now there's some people say the Bucks stink, but if you listen to this chat, we're telling you that the Bucks are a good basketball team, could win the East. So again, Pete, you have to be able to win games with guys out. And Darius Garland, didn't they beat who else did Cleveland beat with Garland out? I can't recall, but I can't recall. I think they beat somebody else good though with Garland out. Again, I know this is just a question. I don't know. I mean, these are things that we're just trying to figure out. Quick Draw McGraw says if Giannis misses a game, we're cooked. But again, Valerie Clayton, that's my point. When Giannis was out last year, Damian Lillard was able to step up and played. You could argue about the comparison with Dame and Giannis and how those two played together. But when Giannis was out, Damian Lillard was, absolute star. He went into superstar mode a lot of those times. And that's what I'm saying we're missing. When Giannis was out, you knew that a guy like Chris Middleton could lead the offense and keep up that scoring pace. That's really what I'm getting at. When you say, well, when guys are, anybody, that has not been the Bucks recently. Because when Giannis is out, they had a guy. Even before Dame, they had a guy. Now they don't have that guy. That's what I'm really asking here. Lag says, I think with this game, you have to clean some things up, and honestly, we win. Yeah, 100%. If we clean things up, you do feel good.
But we also don't know. We also don't know if we're gonna get that guy. Like we could still potentially get that guy in KPJ if this is real. Like if KPJ is real, if he plays like that, however many $1 million man he was before his incident off the court, like that could be the guy. And then you go immediately back to what it was when Giannis was out and we had Dame. Now, granted, did we win those games? Did we win the playoffs? We didn't win in the playoffs, but we won some of those regular season games. Yeah, we for sure won a lot of those regular season games. When you look, I think back to that one Clippers game when Dame got off when Giannis was out. I think that might have been a couple of years ago now. But yeah, like if we can get somebody to emerge into that guy, then more power to us. But also, like that is something that you may seriously have to monitor throughout this season when you get to the trade deadline. But who knows what we even have to offer at this point.
Deadtron says, "Oh man, Doc post game interview out. I wonder." If we had our reporter Justin with us tonight. Justin's actually in Pittsburgh watching his Aaron Rodgers return in person. So I think it's in Pittsburgh, right? Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh. He's in Pittsburgh. Did you see Justin on Twitter on socials? He had a fun weekend. Man was at I think he was at a damn Penguins game. I think he went to Pitt. I think the Pitt Panthers played NC State.
Oh, he was game?
Yeah, he was there. So yeah, Justin was everywhere out in Pittsburgh.
Well, that's what we do here on the Cream City Crossover. We're all over the place. You guys were in Dayton last year watching the Marquette Golden Eagles.
Absolutely.
And then, everywhere we could be. You're always at the Carolina Panthers games on Sundays. Like this is what we do here.
Oh, before we get to the Twitter, I'm so glad I didn't go. I almost went. I'm just not. I cannot spend my hard-earned American dollars on Andy Dalton playing quarterback, and I'm so glad I didn't because that was That was rough out in Carolina against Buffalo today. All right, let's go to the Twitter and see what you guys are saying on there. At Chris Bucks 34 says a remotely even whistle earlier than the fourth, and at least one of Cole or KPJ, and they run away with this game. I agree, especially first half. I thought the whistle was bad. Again, Cleveland ended up shooting more free throws than the Bucks, of course. But again, it did even they definitely called the fouls for Giannis in that third quarter again because you have to. At Sympathy MVP says second unit mix of Sears, Coffee, Jericho held us back, shot ourselves in the foot. My guy David Pottinger says Giannis left at 2:29 in quarter one in a tied game. He didn't return until 6:33 mark in second quarter. I cannot fathom why you'd sit Giannis for a full 8 minutes in a game where the Bucks could not initiate offense. Again, it just goes back a lot. So it's like a lot. It's a common theme here. A lot of people upset with the rotations. I get it, but I guess then your question is, do you want Giannis playing 37, 38, 39 minutes in the second game of the year? I totally get where you're coming from. Yes, could you play Giannis longer? I'm not denying that you could, and I'm not saying, and I think it would yield a better result. I just question: are you willing to do that, and how do you want to do it when you want to do it? That's all. At Trina, Twin for Life 09 says, I'm not that upset with the loss. I give him a B+ for the effort. Must clean up those senseless fouls we made throughout the game. Also, Giannis is going to burn himself out. And then we have Trina saying, so I got one guy saying, this is a duality of people here. I got one guy saying, you got to bring him in earlier. I got somebody else saying that Giannis is going to burn himself out. We got to find ways to get scoring so he doesn't have to go so hard long season. It's a great point by Trina. We can talk all day long about how many more people, how much more he needs to play, but do you need 50 from him to win these games? Again, he gave you 40, 14, and 9 in 33 minutes. Like, all minutes are not created equal. And so when you have a guy like Giannis is 33, it's probably like another guy's 39. And well, it's like Bobby's 50. Like Giannis is 33 is 48 minutes of hard action for a guy like Bobby Portis. So I get where you're going, but again, you have to think about burnout. You have to think about injury, all the different things. At Wisconsin, HFC says competed well enough, didn't get blown out. Guess we won't complain too much given the circumstance. At MK Bucks 11 says we flip Bobby and stuff for Laurie. I think it's about Laurie out in Utah. He says that we'll be set. At Sunk 3 for 5 says trade Bobby. At the Wisconsin kid says bad shooting night for Gary. That's okay. Bobby Portis is the biggest reason we lost. He just doesn't fit this team. At Gene Thursday says they put up a good fight. At J Phil in Texas says they will win easily. One of the three guys missing. Let's do one more here. At AZip70 says too many sloppy turnovers that cost us this game. With KPJ and Anthony, we easily win. So again, a lot of people thinking that with Kevin Porter Jr., with Cole Anthony, they win the game. And a lot of people want to trade Bobby. Your thoughts there from what the people on Twitter are saying, Chris?
No, I think they make a good point. I don't think that a normal GTJ night you find yourself in this situation, but at the end of the day, you got those three guys out that we ever so missed tonight, and so I'm not going to put too much into it. And I didn't really do a great job of complimenting the Bucks on the effort tonight because they very well could have kind of rolled over. I mean, it got to 16 at some point.
17, 16, 17, 18, yeah.
So they could have rolled over, and then we would have had it probably even a shorter night on this post game. But the fact that they were able to go back and I think tie the game or get it within at least one possession for most of that fourth quarter, I thought that was a really good job by the Bucks, and it shows that like this team still has room to grow. Like they basically brought in a whole new team around Giannis, and it comes from guys that didn't play much of a big role last regular season who are being thrusted in. Think about AJ Green, think about KPJ, and so they're still learning each other. And I think there's a lot of room to grow with this Bucks team. So I can't be too doom and gloom, especially after two big nights before this.
A lot of people were talking about Lauri Markkanen, and again, I remember how he played maybe a couple years ago. I haven't watched Utah as much last. There was one year I think it was a couple years ago where Lauri was like he was really balling. I don't know what he's been doing. I just know because I was betting on him often. But I don't know what he did last year as much. I question, and again, someone who has not watched Lauri as much as maybe some others here, I just question: do you think does he fit what the Bucks are trying to do as far as I know he's a younger player. I don't think I don't know how Lauri Markkanen is. I guess my question is, does he fit from an athletic standpoint? I know he can hit the three. I know he can score.
Yeah.
I know he moves okay, but does he fit what you're trying to do? And again, that's one of the things we talk about, like names. Lauri Markkanen is a great name of a guy who you think, oh, put him in a competitive situation, and maybe he'll do. And again, maybe he would, but I guess it's a question: does he fit from a athleticism standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, and from, like I said, just playing? Can he play fast? That's what you're really looking for somebody to do. And I hear you say Trey Kuz and Trey Bobby. Kuz, again, it's another ball handler. Is he going to be able to? Kuz, talk about Kuz. Last couple games, he moves the ball up the floor. I guess that's my question about Lauri. And I'm not saying as I know the answer, what yes or no. I have not viewed him closely enough in the past year to give you a definitive answer on Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, it's hard to, with whatever they have going on in Utah out there, to even keep an eye on them. But I would say I think he fits better than Bobby, at least. So if that's if that's a move that you're thinking about doing, if it makes sense for both sides, then I think he'd fit better. And I think it just shores up that front court. You know, I see people talking about MPJ. I think MPJ, I don't really like him, honestly. I don't think he fits the team. Very selfish basketball player there. So I think Lauri plays the game as a really big, lanky four that can shoot the ball, that can step out, that can also post up a little bit. But we haven't seen too much of that so far this year. So I'm not going to say that I think he fits the mold perfectly for this team. There's probably other guys out there that probably fit the mold better in terms of getting up and down the floor and maybe defending at a higher level. But if that's who you're going with, like, I think he at least provides the depth that you would need if, in case we were talking about the injuries, if somebody in that front court gets hurt, I think he would be decent.
Super chat. Appreciate you again, William Arrange, jumping back in with a super chat. He says, we aren't saying to play Giannis more minutes, but manage his time better. Instead of playing him 10 minutes straight in the first and leaving him off for 8 in the second, figure a way to get him on earlier. And listen, William, you're absolutely right. But again, for every action, there's going to be an opposite reaction. You could do that. I'm not saying you can't do it. You could play him 6 minutes here. Remember, they were doing some of that stuff last year. They were trying to figure out how they wanted to play. You could play him 6 minutes in the first quarter, and then could you find yourself down 10, 11, 12, starting the second? I don't know. Somebody, you talking about, I don't know how, talking about playing, and I see IO responding, says exactly, being more strategic, rather play in the fourth, less in the second or third. That third quarter was pretty important to getting the Bucks to a 2-point game.
Oh, he did it himself too, almost.
He did. So again, I go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, it was like that was when he knocked down the three to cut it to I think 13. He gets you an and one and cuts it to 10, and then all of a sudden we're a couple of threes away, and then we tie the game up. So like I think like that's a very important stretch of basketball for Giannis to play.
And here's the other, and this is what I know. And again, I love the comments. I love people. Again, that's what it's all about: thought process. And again, there are no wrong answers. You know what I'm saying? We're all trying to think this thing together. But I think it through, William and IO, and I go, how would you have felt if the Bucks were in the middle of a comeback in the third quarter, and they're charging and surging and getting themselves back into the game, and they get it to 8, 9 points? They say, okay, we're going to save you for the fourth quarter. And instead of you coming back at a 2-point game in the fourth, which I started the fourth off, instead of coming back at a 2-point game in the fourth quarter, because they rested Giannis, they rested Giannis for 3 minutes in the third. If let's say they cut him off somewhere when they got it to 10 or whatever it was, I'm just saying, I wonder if you lose that momentum, and next thing you know, instead of starting the quarter down 2, you're still down 6, 8, 10, whatever it is. I'm just saying there can be that opposite reaction on the other side of things there. Okay, we're halftime at Pittsburgh, Green Bay. I don't know what the score is, 16-7. We'll see if we can get you out of here before the second half starts. And Chris, let's do it with anything. Well, let's do it with game balls here. 118-113. Cleveland beats the Milwaukee Bucks. Who are you giving game ball to? And out there in chat, let's know who you're giving game ball to as well.
Yeah, if I give it to the opposite team, I'm gonna go with Donovan Mitchell. I thought even though he didn't have the greatest of shooting nights, I thought the little stretch run he went on in the fourth quarter really kind of put the game away. Whether it was a fadeaway jumper over Bobby Portis, or he had that and one, I believe, and he just made clutch buckets down the stretch, and that's why I thought ultimately they won the game, because they made more shots and it wasn't so one and done like how we were on the offensive side. So I'm going to go with 45, a.k.a. Spida, a.k.a. wants to be a baseball player.
All right. I'm a, me always, you got to win to get in. That's how I feel about it. Cavs win at 118-113. So my game ball is going to go to, I'm going to give it to the guy I thought unsung hero. Did a lot of things for that basketball team. Hit a clutch three. Made some plays. I thought he was instrumental in the dub. I'm gonna go Lonzo Ball. 11.6 boards, 5 assists, 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. I thought he was very instrumental in off the bench for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And again, in a 5-point game, you need guys like that who play well and do the little things, the dirty things to get the win. Again, 23 minutes, 11-65. That's a lot of action, a lot of activity for Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo Ball gets my game ball. Lonzo, a.k.a. my brother's a better rapper than yours, a.k.a. Y'all didn't think I was gonna play, but I'm back. AKA Triple B's, AKA Big Baller Brand, AKA stunting like my daddy. You see, LeVar Ball never lost. So again, here we go. It's for me, is Lonzo Ball as the who gets the game ball. And then we look around the league, Chris. The Mavericks are 0-2. We're looking for their first win. They're up 13 over the Raptors in the fourth. You got the Clippers up 6 over the Blazers. Did you see the Clippers the other day? I think they had who did they had somebody. It was weird. Like they had somebody like leading the wall. Like, did you see that? They had some. I feel like it was. Did you ever watch that show Workaholics? No, I think it was that dude. I can't remember his name now. I feel like it was him, but it could have been somebody else who was like, he had a microphone during the, and was like getting them to like do the wave when people shoot free throws. Real weird out there in LA. Kings are up 2 over the Cavs in the second quarter. Let's see. Let's do the box score check. 118-107. Spurs beat the Brooklyn Nets. We got to do a box score check on Wemby every time. 31-14, 4 assists, 3 steals, 6 blocks. He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year with ease. There was a stretch of this game. He had 2 big blocks, then hit a deep 3. I don't know if you saw that. That was nice. I'll give you another impressive box score, Chris, that might one-up Wemby. How about your boy Cam Thomas? 40 points, no assists. That's how you do it. Straight buckets. Straight buckets, man. They ain't want to pay him. Hey, he go get straight buckets. I ain't passing to nobody. Boston Celtics are 0-3. They lose to the Pistons 119-113. That might influence if Jason Tatum comes back, because they're not a competitive basketball team. And again, it's early in the season, but they're not competitive. Hey, there's no reason for them to come back. The Heat beat the Knicks 115-107. Both of those teams 2-1. How about the Hornets? 139-113. They're putting up a ton of points. Let me see. Woo, another good box score for you. 38-13-13 for LaMelo Ball. How about that? Plus 32, Melo. I like it. And the Timberwolves beat the 0-3 Indiana Pacers 114-110. I always like to see the Pacers lose. So I'll take that as some solace there. Bucks and Cavs both 2-1. Let me see anything else. Of course, NFL today. Packers up down 16-7. A lot of blowouts in the league. Eagles got a big win over the Giants. Cam Scatterboo broke his ankle. That was tough to see.
Kelly fired at LSU.
Frank, yeah, he got fired at LSU. Who do you think takes over that job?
That's the thing. Like, it's hard to even give any speculations on these coaching carousels because it's like one job will affect another job that'll affect another job that'll affect another job. So I mean, whoever is able to, pry, maybe a Dillingham away from Arizona State, maybe a
Lane Kiffin,
Lanning from Oregon, Lane
Oh,
Kiffin.
Lane.
I mean, I don't think he'll leave, but those are the kind of names like a Marcus Freeman, Lane Kiffin, again, like you just said, like those are the type of names that would be shooting super high. But then you also got coordinators all over the place that are really, really, really good. Like Matt Patricia, does he try to get a head coaching job? Like so it's always going to be interesting in seeing what these teams do because they're paying so much money for these buyouts. They got to have money to offer. So. We'll see. I mean, Brian Kelly had it coming. I mean, some of those recruiting videos that he'd come out with,
cringe.
It's terrible. He was never an LSU guy. I don't even know if he's ever a college football coach guy.
Nah. He comes with them. He has accents when he starts doing when he gets to different places. Just come on now. But yeah, no, you're right. There's a lot of so you have that going in college. You have a lot of blowouts in the NFL. Jets get their first win. It's interesting today over the they beat the Bengals, right? They beat the Bengals today. They beat the Bengals. I was watching. I was interested to see how they got that. Jonathan Taylor had a big day. Are the Colts the best team in football? Are the Colts the best team in the NFL?
I mean, it's hard when two of those wins come over the Titans, who are just terrible. But like, I mean, their defense certainly looks really good, and then like Danny Dimes, like he's throwing the ball well. It helps when you're able to get a guy like Jonathan Taylor who opens up that run game so much for you. So, or opens up the passing game for you because he's rushing for 3 touchdowns. Like, I don't know. I think they're for real. At least I don't know if they're Super Bowl worthy. I don't think they're. I mean, I think it's the usual suspects. Buffalo getting back on track today. I mean. They should have tried. You should have tried to see what Hendon Hooker was.
I would have loved to see Hendon Hooker. I might as well. He couldn't have done any worse than Andy Dalton today. Not at all. Okay. Anything else? Bucks lose it. Lose the first game of the season. 118-113 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Good fun night here on the Cream City Crossover. Appreciate all of you for joining us. But anything else, Chris King, that you want to add after a loss? Let me just see first off what's coming up. Bucks and Knicks Tuesday on Peacock on the cock Tuesday against the Knicks, and let's see, and then we're Thursday on NBA TV against the Warriors. So that'll be interesting, and then then they're back at it Saturday against the Kings. So again, interesting. Again, this is interesting matchups coming up here.
No back-to-backs yet.
No back-to-backs yet, but you'd like to win. You like to go 2-1 here. Yeah. Between Knicks, Warriors, and Kings this week. I'd like to see 2-1. You got to win this Kings game. You got to find one between Golden State and the Knicks, and hopefully you get one or two of your guys back. I don't think you're gonna get KPJ back, but I think there's a chance that you could get. Because Cole Anthony was an illness, so hopefully that was just a stomach bug or something. Cole Anthony back on Tuesday, and then I don't think it didn't seem like Kyle Kuzma's injury was as bad as KPJ. So hopefully maybe Tuesday, Thursday you get KPJ back as well. But yes, somebody get Cole Anthony some cough syrup. But yeah, so anything else finally you want to talk about on the Bucks after a loss tonight?
No, I'm happy with the effort at least. Also. Was it on the road tonight? Yeah, on the road. So just, got guys out, still able to make it a competitive game, working out some kinks with Miles Turner finally finding some offense to bring to this team. And then, I would hope we can get 2 out of 3, maybe even all 3. I think this team has a very, competitive ceiling to where if you guys are just playing hard, playing with effort, anything could happen on any given night, especially with Giannis out there manufacturing points in any which way. So I'm happy with the effort. Again, not going to put too much into this loss tonight and some things to clean up, but this is what we see the growth. We see the growth throughout this whole regular season, and hopefully it just keeps getting 1% better every single game they go out there.
And I would agree with that. I think even though there's some turnover issues, do you make the right decisions at all times? No. But I cannot say outside of maybe Bobby Porter's. I can't say, and I think I've said this at times before last year and throughout the years. Effort. I cannot say that the Bucks are losing because of lack of effort. And against first loss, but I can't say they lost. That they did not lose tonight because they came out and said, we ain't got it tonight. Like that has not been a thing. So that's a good thing. NYC Randy, one more super chat before we get out of here. Says pretty simple for me. Bobby has to go. He just don't fit at all. We need a wing defender bad. We need KPJ back. And Doc is in love with Prince, but that comes from not having a real small forward. I think that too, NYC. I think the Torian Prince thing comes from not having a true small forward. And again, you're trying. Doc Rivers is trying to do what everybody wants him to do with, the starting lineups. It's got to be AJ Green. It's got to be Gary Trent Jr. It's got to be KPJ. And now, of course, the injury, you have Ryan. That's the starting lineup. That's your starting backcourt. And again, that comes with different issues. It comes with AJ Green has a tougher time guarding guys like Donovan Mitchell, guarding those bigger wings. You saw him have a tough time with your boy Brandon Ingram. Like, those are tough matchups for him. And especially, I think Kuzma would have played a decent amount. I think Kuzma would have played tonight. I mean, obviously he's going to play. I think he would have got some of those minutes that Torian Prince got. How many Torian Prince finished with? Let me just see. This is the thing. You got to hit threes if you're going to be out there. Let me just see what Torian Prince finished with. 5 points, 8 points.
That one sidestep three hit was nice.
Yeah.
And then also, like,
2 or 3 from 3. Yeah.
You kind of see the way that, defensively down the stretch wasn't good. Like, really wasn't good. And you wonder if that closing lineup, when you get Kuz back, he was still in the closing lineup last game, but you wonder if that changes at all with having, maybe a Cole Anthony back and a KPJ back, if anybody is slid to the 3, or if you just have Kuz in there for length.
Yeah, and again, I think these first 15 to 20 games are for finding out, can I really play with the backcourt of KPJ, Gary Trent Jr., and AJ Green as my small forward? Can I live with that? Or am I got to be matchup dependent and we have big wings? Am I got to make a sub there and play Kuz or whatever? But again, play Kuz or 3s playing out of position. So again, it's always, we talk about, it's catch 22, a lot of different ways for that to go. Appreciate the super chat, NYC Randy. Appreciate everybody for sending us super chats throughout the show. Appreciate all your comments throughout the show. Appreciate you listening and watching with us. Hit that like button if you appreciate this post-game show in a 118-113 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And again, we're here, whether they win, whether they lose, what have you. We're always here, modeling consistency here at the Cream City Crossover. But again, we know the Packers are playing. We know they're playing the Steelers right now. Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers return against playing his former team, the Green Bay Packers. Of course, we know you guys are watching out in Wisconsin. So we're here with you. We appreciate you for being with us, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight at the Cream City Crossover. And again, we appreciate that. Please hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff for us. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another friend about the Cream City Crossover. Again, just appreciate it. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Groove Truck House III.
Chris King.
Hey, we'll be back at it on Tuesday. If I am your enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no with Nichols. I told you we'd get you back before halftime ended. Courage.